It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for action in the Indy Open Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Godson, and welcome to Race First coverage, sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups of Round 2 of the Indy Open Series Championship, coming today from the first of 5 oval races this season. It's the Legacy Michigan International Raceway. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth for today's race, he drives for the Team 4 racing team in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series, among others. Please welcome Nick Sudik, and also with us for the broadcast this season, remainder of the season, he is my IndyCar teammate, regular participant in the Indy Fix Series, coming to us from Mexico City. Please welcome Antonio Estrada. So guys, we got 200 miles in front of us. Do you consider this race a sprint or a marathon, and what do you think some of the keys to today's race are?
Well, definitely first, Gary, good to be back for another season of open competition here. It's honestly Michigan survival. It's almost like a mini Indianapolis in the sense that you want to get through the first half of the race and then start making your moves here. Open setup, fixed setup, doesn't matter here at this track. It always produces some of the best racing with this car, especially in terms of oval racing with the IR18. But definitely it's a marathon in my opinion here. Let's get through that first half and then anything can happen.
Antonio?
I have to definitely agree on that. It's first of all, it's a survival mode. You need to be there at the end in order to win. To finish first you must finish, right? So
right.
Yeah, you definitely need to be there. Take care of your car, take care of your tires. Which if we do get a long run at some point, tires do fall off a little bit. I know for my experience on after staying on older tires, after a while they do lose grip and people can overtake you that way. But yeah, I mean, first of all, you need to survive the craziness. Probably hang back a little bit. I mean, you don't necessarily need to push at first, and just be there with the pack, and then strategize to make sure that you're there at the end, and then make moves. I mean, yeah, the draft here is such an important part, and it's going to be pulling you there closer to the other cars. You also need to make sure that you have enough clean air in order to, not abuse your tires. But all in all, it's going to be a super entertaining race, I think.
Well, if it was anything like the race we had here in the FIS on Tuesday, which we could talk about later, which that was an exciting race all race long. If it's anything like that one, we're in for a treat today. Here's all the IndyCar records you need to know about at Michigan with 34 seconds. Jesper Orman on the provisional pole, 221.426 miles per hour. There you see everything in miles per hour there on the tree. USAC track record set by Tom Sneva in 78. Keep in mind, this is 1978. He set a speed of 211.392 miles per hour. Again, 1978, 211.392. That is pretty big speed there. The more conventional track record set by Paul Tracy, set in 2000 with a speed of 234.9. The IRL IndyCar track record set by Thomas Scheckter in 2003, the speed of 222.4. The career wins leaders here are, it's a virtual who's who of IndyCar racing. Johnny Rutherford with 4, including 1 500-miler. Gordon Johncock with 4 with 1 500-miler. Bobby Unser with 3, 1 in USAC, 2 in kart. Mario Andretti, 3 wins, 1 500-miler. Rick Mears, 3 wins, 1 500-miler. Bobby Rahal, 3 wins, but all of them were sprint races, along with AJ Foyt with 2. And then people that we tend to forget about that also did pretty well here. Michael Andretti has 2 500-mile wins here. Scott Goodyear has 2 500-mile wins here. And Tony Kanaan is the only driver that can say that he won in kart and in IndyCar here. Won in kart in 99 and won in IndyCar in 07. So that is all you need to know about Michigan. Michigan definitely favors first-time winners. We'll talk about that in the history of IndyCar racing as well. But before we get there, it's time to get in today's starting lineup here at Michigan. On the poles, my man Jesper Orman, 32.5 for the IAR star. Another one of the IAR teammates, friend of the program, AJ Musselman. I guess I always say you can't have an IndyCar race without an AJ in the lineup. 32.5 as well. Identical times up to the third decimal spot there for those two. Adam Blocker, the Lionheart star, 32.557 starting third. RM3 lines up fourth, 32.5. for the Michigan resident. Chris Wilhite, another IAI car, 5th. Matt Hollenball, 6th. Rashid Craig, another one of the IAR cars. They must have these set up, guys. Starting 7th, Hugo Olsen in the Power Slide car, 8th. Sab Alexander, 9th. David Graybill, 10th. David Porcelli, 11th. Kevin Burrell, friend of the program, starting 12th. Nathan Reese, 13th. Cesar Cabral, friend of the program, 14th. Connie Naslin, fresh off that PMRL race that they were in on Wednesday, 15th. Kahiro Shiba, 16th. Rainer King, who joins us on the booth for our Wednesday RAL broadcast, starting 17th. And Zachary Hubler, friend of the program, 18th. Trace Shadid, sorry Trace, he's starting 19th. We see him a lot on our Indy Fix program. Alex VDS starting 20th. Boy, he has a long way to come, but we've seen him do the start in the rear to go to the front challenge many times. Of course, there's Evan Adams 21st, Miles Hammock Jr. 22nd, and Gil Ribero's trying to be the second Ribeiro to win here at Michigan, starting on shotgun on the field, 23rd. Whew. Okay, so 23 car field, under formation lap right here. Guys, what are you doing at this point?
You're just kind of focusing. If you are Van de Sant, you are absolutely thinking about how much fuel you want to save early on, because that's going to be a quicker stop in the end here. But Noah and Alex, seen him carve through. But everybody just keep the noses clean. And just focus.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you need to slow down a little bit before you go and hammer it down. Also start strategizing. Like, what is your plan? What do you want to do? I mean, typically a field run is around 30, 32 laps around here, and we have 100 laps. So you're going to need to pit at least twice, if not a little bit more. But like Nick said, you definitely need to be saving some fuel, making sure you're there at the end. Right, and yeah, we're coming to the green.
Yes, we are. And Jesper is waiting, still waiting. And we are underway here. Jesper, a great start. AJ kind of stumbles a little bit. I don't know if there was a little bit of miscommunication with the teammates there, but that brings Blocker and Malechka. The Power Slide duo to take second and third right away. Cold tires are going to push them up the track. Everybody seems to be getting through. Oh, no, and there's an incident back in the back of the field.
Alex. It's Alex Van de Sant. And we are under caution. Let's take a look at what happened with Alex.
Oh.
Apron bad, guys.
Yep, the apron.
Apron
The apron is really bad.
All by himself. That is, man, you don't see that very often. And I feel bad for Alex because, again, you don't see that very often. It's not indicative of type of driver he is, but yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it's very easy, especially on colder tires. You probably aren't anticipating having that much grip and that much dirty air, even at slower speeds. But cold tires, either way, will bite you. Especially, pair that with, like you said, touching that apron. It's like ice. The moment you just get on that, you lose a ton of grip. You unbalance the car, and you do the spin. And unfortunately, that's going to probably be day done.
Yeah, that looks terminal.
Van de Sant there.
Yeah, that looks terminal. If he does get repaired, the good, I'm sure there's some underbody damage though, the way that hit the wall. But right now we got a battle between the IAR cars and the Power Slide, Team Power Slide up in the top 5 for the most part. We do have Matt Hollenball there for the Internet All-American iRacers. But while we're under caution, let's take care of a little bit of business. For those of you that are seasoned streamers, it should not surprise you that most of you watching right now, about 51% of you, are not subscribers. So let's change that right now. If you can, please help us on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy Race First coverage of the Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern top split of the Indy Open Race and you respect the stream, please do us a solid solid, and make sure you support us by subscribing. We have less than 70 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark, so help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. Turn that red button gray, please. We cannot get there without you, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts. And now let's get back into it on the Speedway in the Irish Hills of Michigan. We are lap 3 of 100 under caution, very early due to an incident by Alex Van de Sant in turns 1 and 2. Jesper Orman is your leader, followed by RM3, Blocker, Hollenball, and Musselman as your top 5.
Tell you what, just looking at the cars a little bit here under caution, a lot of the top 10 are running that larger front wicker. Matt Hollenball, though, the IAR or the All-American iRacer cars, him and Evan Adams both run on the smaller front wicker, so they're gonna have a little bit less downforce. If they can get ahead, or at least even get another spot or two, they're gonna be carrying a little bit more top speed than some of these other front runners, in theory. A very interesting setup choice there.
We're looking at the out the rear of Adam Blocker's car, trying to see get an idea of what you're talking about with the plane, to give everyone an idea what you're talking about. Matt's a little too far back. Let's see if we can't get another shot of Hollenball here, possibly. No, that's too far away for our cameras, but those of you guys at home watching the replay, you can obviously get more unconventional angles on that one. But yeah, that does make a difference. But on longer runs, how will that affect their tire wear?
If you're in traffic, it's not going to feel good. Your front's going to go way quicker. Less downforce. You're going to have to turn the wheel more, and the way, especially in sim, the way that iRacing models tire wear is primarily through tire temperature. And that's and pretty much on an oval, the more you put into turning with the wheel, the more heat you're going to generate. So as long as he can find clean air, stay in the top 5, that should not be an issue. That's going to actually help him stay up front. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that if he starts to slip through traffic a little bit more.
Speaking of Evan Adams, also, he's up 5 spots, the biggest gainer already, and we are only through one turn of racing, pretty much. Coming to green here, coming to lap 5 of 100 here at Legacy Michigan International. Field is under control of Jesper Orman. What does he do? This time he goes, he's not going to wait. We're a green flag.
Jesper getting that huge run. Ooh, a little bit of a checkup in the back there. Looks like the back there, the field checked up a little bit. Everybody making it to the start line. Jesper really able to hang on to that low line on those colder tires, not even having a full heat cycle on them yet. But it'll be interesting to see the team tactics from Power Slide coming up. Blocker looking to the inside.
They're going to split them. That's the team tactic right there. You go high, I'll go low. Oh, no, Jesper's not having any part of that. Goes ahead and puts the block on RM3 up top. Now they're 3 wide, across the tri-oval area. AJ and Matt are sitting there at very interested parties.
Yep, just keeping their nose clean, trying to just make sure they're staying well in contact. Oh, as we have a car spinning off of 2.
Porcelli.
Looks like he kept it off the inside retaining wall. There's no caution.
No caution, but he's back underway. I'm going to see if keep an eye on him, see if maybe he's any damage. Of course, those tires are going to be really warm right now.
In the meantime, 3 wide for the lead. Adam Blocker going low.
Yeah, expect a lot of that coming here. If you've followed any iRacing social media over probably the last 3 months, you'll know that this track has produced, this and the new scan have produced some of the closest finishes in IndyCar on iRacing. So never doubt on that.
So this Tuesday, last Tuesday during the FIS race here, their only oval race of the season, they had 5 cars coming down to the checkered flag in that particular race for the win. Now, what you're going to see in this race sometimes, but it was declared off limits in the FIS race, is that the apron at all times is off limits in the FIS. Unfortunately, the car that crossed the start-finish line first used the apron in order to get the win and got a one-lap penalty, so they had to the win went to whoever finished second there, which was our man Nate Siefer in the FIS there, former FIS champion. So very exciting races all the time here, whether it's a official race or a league race. Michigan Legacy or New Scan Michigan fails to very rarely disappoint.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just looking at Jesper Orman and Adam Locker. They're swapping the lead. That's an interesting strategy that can get you a little bit of separation between yourselves, like the front, the leaders, and the rest of the pack. If you do that, you can pull away a little bit. That's something that if you work together with the other guys, you're gonna prevent them from catching up. So interesting that to see them working right now, as we see Robert Malexa just hanging out back behind them. It's let's see how long this alliance works for, and when things start getting a little bit more intense.
With them swapping, I wouldn't be surprised the likes of Malechka, Hollabaugh, Musselman, Wilhite, Craig, Olsen, pretty much everybody in that lead group that's starting to break away, start to save fuel.
Yep.
With the caution, you're going to be able to make that fuel number a little bit easier. It shouldn't have been too much of a problem regardless, but again, the less time you spend on pit lane, that can make the difference between keeping contact with the lead group on that last pit stop if we stay green, or losing the draft.
That's
Definitely.
right.
And I think... sorry, Gary. I think that's something interesting also we saw from the back of the pack. A couple of drivers went into the pits and topped up on fuel. I'm talking about guys like Ryan Eric King, Gil Rivero, Trace Shadid. Those guys went into the pits at lap 3, so they are a little bit better on that fuel number. They might be able to stay maybe a little longer on track, have a shorter pit stop, or go all out if they want, because that will get them that fuel number that we were talking about.
Storylines developing quicker than a professional wrestling right here, let me tell you. As AJ looking to the inside of Hollabaugh yet again. He really wants to get back in that top 3, top 4.
Now, as these tires start to go off, that low line is not the way you want to pass folks, right?
No. Very slippery down there, especially on this legacy scan.
Very sketch. And as mentioned, there are cars on an alternate strategy. We'll go back to 16th. There's Katsuhiro Shiba, Ryan Eric King, Gil Ribeiro, Trey Shadid, Zachary Hubler, and Miles Hamrick. They are all on the alternate strategy. David Porcelli is still back there, and he's out of the draft, but he is really hoping for a caution. Otherwise, he's in for a long 100. Oh, we got a car spinning off of 4. That's Miles Hamrick Jr. He hits the wall on the where the access road for the safety vehicles would be. He's backed out of it underway, but he has a left front that's definitely not going to agree to being at full speed. He will make it back to the pits, but we are still under green.
Looking at the replay of what happened, I mean, he just lost it coming off of 2. I figure maybe he had a little bit too much weight jacker or something with the bars, the way that he had set them up, because it looked like a very weird spin just on its own. Really, not fighting anybody, not taking a weird line or anything. So I think it has to do a little bit with the weight jacker, maybe being a little aggressive there to try and make up some spots.
Take a blanket, throw it over the top 8 right now. They are separated by not even quite a second, just about. Leading that second group, our little on back, is Seb Alexander in 9th. We got a whole host of teams back here. We got IAR leading this battle right here. There's Scowers in P10. Nathan Reese in 11th. We got some Team Watson cars back there as well. Kevin Burrell and Cesar Cabral.
This is about the point where you're going to start to see some of that tire wear we were talking about from some of those drivers that were
halfway through a stint,
hanging behind. Yep. Even just listening to comms, I don't know if it was related to that. Robert Malechki gets on all teams and says, "Get the fire extinguishers out." Whether that was intentional or unintentional, that was good timing on his part. Because those tires, especially for those runners that have been running that low line in traffic, are going to be howling.
Check out Rashid Craig up near the wall. He's finding that Larson line grip strip up there.
And once you have that tire where it start to build up, that very, very top line is really fast. I've made it work in the past, and you can really get by some people. But you also, have the issue that you can also abuse that right front tire a little bit more by doing it. But if you saved enough tire throughout the beginning of your stint, you can definitely make it work, at least until the remainder of it.
Hugo Olsen in that yellow car going down to the yellow line there. He's our winner last week. We're going to go 2 for 2 to start the Indy Open season here in the 2 o'clock Saturday Strength of Field race. Thank everyone for joining us. Coverage sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. You can go visit their site at teamwatsonracing.com.
And it looks like Seb Alexander, the guy that's currently leading like the second pack, he's catching up. That second pack was a second and a half away from the lead pack, and now it's down to 1 second, so he's catching up quickly.
Yeah, last time by, Alexander 32.8. Hugo also the last car in that 8-car pack, a 33 flat, so he was faster by 2/10, and he's starting to reel these guys in. That is one of the things that you get to see during Indy Open races, is as the runs and stints go on, some of these setups come in later, some of them come in earlier, and you'll see these cars break away from groups and catch up to other groups. That's something we don't often see in fixed, because everyone, has a fixed setup.
It'll be really interesting to see how Seb kind of handles this. He's in the draft envelope now of that lead group, so going to be able to save a little bit more fuel. If you can manage the gap, you can actually save the tires a little bit more, because you're still getting more air on that nose of your car. And it might pay off in the last couple laps of this stint to make up that time. So very interesting to see how Seb will handle this. One little thing I've noticed, him and Hugo are the only ones running that bottom line now, at least in terms of the top 10, top 12 overall. So they're definitely filling their cars. They have them dialed in for that late run speed.
They're riding along Seb Alexander right here on the roll cage. He was midway up the racetrack in that second lane. If you can see these seams, they're not quite lanes, but they're definite markers about where you're running. There he goes to the bottom, coming off of 2. Back up off the banking, down the back stretch, about a foot off the wall. Shifting up in the 6th gear. Again, if you're watching IndyCar racing for the first time and you're like, wow, why are they shifting gears? Because they don't do that in taxi cab racing. Well, that's because IndyCars have 6 gears here. We got a run gear, which is 5th predominantly, and a 6th gear, which is takes you into higher revs and allows you to pass. You can also use sometimes 6, depending on how you have it configured for fuel conservation as well. But he is reeling in that group. Last time by, though, Olsen a 33.8, Alexander a 32.9. So he's not reeling them out at the pace he was before, but he can still see them right in front of him. He's at that draft window over 1.4, so he's just inside of it.
Yeah, I think what's going on is they're starting to string out a little bit up front. You still have Blocker and Jesper back and forth, swapping. But everybody else is kind of just holding their own, not quite jockeying for position as much now. And that's going to make them go faster. So as Seb is 1.6 now, you're getting in the danger zone of losing the draft there. I think that's right on the edge. So it'll be very interesting if that second group can keep contact.
Ooh,
AJ
wow. Had to check up. He was getting ready to hit Matt there. He had to check up just a little bit. Watch him get a little loose on that camera shot.
And the same thing happened to Wheelhide a little behind him. He had to check up a little bit there. These tires are starting to, go away. And drivers are really having to fight the cars now.
So RM3 is falling back to 6. Now, is that Is that for self-preservation, or do you think the tires are gone off on him and he's just allowing other people to do their work around him and just all he needs to do is stay up with the group? Now he's back to 7th.
Oh, go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, I would say it's the latter, or at least I would do that. I think at this point, you don't really need to be pushing even further. So just preserve, make sure that you keep contact with that lead group. Although now Hugo also is going by him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he keeps dropping back a little bit. I don't think it's that he has an issue or anything. Maybe he has a little bit of tire wear, but no need to push a car. Just keep up with the group.
Yeah, it looks like he probably put a little bit too much heat in the right front. He was sliding a couple laps ago. He had a little bit of a slide, probably burned up that right front a little bit. And then I think this is the point in the run where he might be trying to hit a fuel number. He's lifting off the throttle a bit, just trying to stay in line. So yeah, again, cooler heads are prevailing right now. Everybody understands that unless you really got to run, you're gonna want to kind of just chill out and just maintain until you get fresh boots on that chassis of yours.
Oh, where can you go? I mean, it's not like you can break away right now.
Yeah, that is right. You're kind of in midtown traffic there at this point. You can try to get around somebody, but the moment you break away, you're either going to get past or you're just going to end up right back where you were.
Coming to 30 of 100. We're quickly getting through a third of this race. Only one caution very early. Had a couple of incidents coming off of 2. Have not spawned the caution.
Oh, we're getting close to that pit window as well, too.
We have a pretty much an all-star community teams list up at the front. We have Power Slide, IAR, All-American Internet, All-American iRacers, the AAIR team. They're Matt Hollenbaugh. IAR, Chris Wilhite, Hugo Olson, Power Slide, Robert Malechka III, Power Slide. Nathan Reese has moved up into P9 ahead of Seb Alexander. Nathan Reese is part of that Scours squad. Everybody that's got a team's in today. Team Watson Racing represented by Cesar Cabral up to 11th.
Anyway, keep an eye on Cesar as well, too. His form on ovals has been fantastic, especially late in the runs. League race last night for Elite Racing. His late race pace was fantastic. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on him. If that pack with Seb, Reese, Cabral at all can keep in contact.
Here's Cabral down low under Seb. In the 1 and 2. He's got the position up side by side. They're going to drag race down the backstretch.
And they don't want to do too much of that because it's going to cost them time as they drop about 1.5 to 2 tenths to that group.
And I see that David Grable just mentioned on his chat that he's about to pit. So we're in that window now, guys.
Seb Alexander almost gets the wall off of 4. Let's take a look at David Graybill. He is hitting pit road right now. And he's on pit road, this Team Scours entry. Hitting at 60 miles per hour, a really just painful crawl down this pit road. Hitting his marks, right spot on, up on the jacks.
We have an incident. Cesar Cabral.
And he is spinning backwards,
really
and we are
there.
Caution on the speedway. Alex Van de Sant, see his car go by. He is back underway.
And Alex Vander said, I was watching him a couple laps ago. He really doesn't have very many, like a lot of damage. We thought that it was terminal.
So we had Cabral contact with Evans. Evan Adams, excuse me. Adams did a pretty good job. He's going to have some sort of... he's going to definitely have some type of damage. But since they updated the model on these cars, there's no more slight damage anymore. Anytime you hit the wall, it's going to be 8 minutes or something. And I would imagine these two are going to be on pit road for some lengthy repairs while the cars look like they're in decent shape. I'm sure they're not going to drive well. And that did not work well for David Graybill because I think he lost the lap as soon as he came out of the pits. It went caution. So bad timing there on the pit road. What he will do, though, is he will cycle all the way up to the front and get the wave around. Again, not familiar with IndyCar racing. IndyCar rules state the leader always takes the field back to green. If there's any cars that are not in front of the leader, excuse me. If there's any cars in front of the leader under caution between the leader and the pace car as he goes through the pace car, those guys will get a wave around. And that'll allow him to get all the way back to the end of the field. So he will get his lap back there, hopefully. Also right behind him is Alex Van de Sant. Alex Van de Sant, he might get a wave around here too as well.
Yeah, just one lap down currently.
That's pretty fortunate for him.
Oh, wow. Great pit stops. Great pit stops from the IAR crew.
Wow.
Coming out one,
top
two,
three.
three.
Yeah.
I mean, Rashad just shot out like a dart from his box right down the middle.
Let's go ahead and rewind that a little bit and watch pit lane as these guys all come off of pit road. And as we were covering something else there. Here we go. And let's go ahead and let's go back to Rashid Craig. He's the one that's going to gain the most out of this. Here we go. Wow.
Just 4 wide there at one point through the boxes and the fast lane and the speed up lane. Like that was pretty intense. That could have been really bad.
Yeah.
For those not in the box.
You got to wonder at what point do the cars become solid again?
Yeah, they were right on that line. I saw a couple cars even further on back too, kind of phasing between each other, and I'm like, please don't start making collision boxes. Just keep them like that. Thank you. Keep them ghosting.
So Graybill and Van de Sant getting the wave around. So this will bring actually Van de Sant, I believe, back to 1 lap down. Graybill will be on the lead lap. So actually, if there's another quick I would imagine if there's another quick caution, no one's really going to pit. So I don't. We're going to have to see Van de Sant work some strategy here if he wants to get back on that lead lap. Cabral has punched out. It looks like too much damage to continue. But Evan Adams is still on the racetrack. We'll keep an eye on him to see what type of damage possibly might be on his car, as he is currently in 11th. Right behind him is friend of the program, Kevin Burrell. He's in 12th. His oval racing is getting better.
Yeah, if you're Van de Sant talking about wanting to get back on the lead lap, the window probably to re-pit again is going to be about halfway through the stint generally. I think if it's 15, 16 laps, you're going to want to pit again for those fresher tires just to get some maneuverability.
Indy Alliance Racing, IAR 1, 2, 3, bringing the field down to green. Green flag. We're back underway here at Michigan.
Ryan Eric King there in the back. There was a little bit of a checkup how to get out of line. Jesper loving that low line to begin. We'll see if AJ and himself and Rashad can just swap and start to maybe contain the rest of that pack.
Yeah, and I think Robert Molexa is not having any of that. He's really getting closer, trying to break that trio up front because, yeah, like you said, if they start stopping around and just doing it on their own, they might be able to get away with it. But I'm sure the other folks have different ideas here.
Yeah, Hugo, Rob, and Adam probably are all on comms together. Like, we gotta go. Like, this is if we're gonna do a 3v3 battle, we want to go. Like, we got to get up there. We got to split them up to give any of us a shot at winning this.
Well, they do not have the numbers advantage because once Chris Wilhite gets into this battle, we'll have another IAR car in amidst this dogfight right here. Very much like what is going on. We're watching a dogfight, except it's with wheels and wings on the ground. These guys are just slugging it out.
Yeah, AJ playing a little defensive right there, trying to keep Hugo at bay. They got to run. AJ pops out first. That's smart play from AJ there, but it's gonna leave Jesper a little vulnerable.
Musselman to the front at Michigan.
Hugo to his outside.
Whoa, I bet they're going to split him there for a second. Not a lot of room there on the outside next to the wall.
Very close there. Hugo now doing that outside line, trying to stay on the tracks of Jesper Arman, but great teamwork there. You see how Jesper moved down a little bit to give the draft to his to his
Hugo
teammate.
on the outside of AJ in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Jesper had to go low. It cut off a little bit of air on AJ's nose, and that's going to just open the door for the power slide duo to come through on the inside.
Ooh.
Now it's 1-2 power slide. What a move there by both Hugo Olsen and Adam Blocker. And now the table has turned.
We'll see what kind of work Blocker and Olsen can do together. We saw Blocker and Malechko work together early on.
Well, RM3 has kind of done the same thing he did at the end of the last stint. He is was racy very early in this stint on the restart, and now has fallen back to 8th and has himself a bit of a gap up to Hollenball, who's sitting in 7th. So again, is this a little bit of a strategy, a save let's call it a save and secure strategy. You're going to save some fuel and you're a little bit more secure back behind these guys if something happens ahead.
Yeah, if what we were talking about was right, he did burn up his right side tires late in that run. I think he's probably doing the opposite. Like, all right, we saw the tire fall off from everybody else. Maybe I might be able to save a little bit and make some moves later in the run, because I'm kind of stuck back here with everybody going 2-3 wide. Not a lot of air on the track to have in front of you to keep that keep that wing stable.
Yeah, and you're seeing going through the turns here, and we'll give you another angle here. Here's a real good angle. Look at the different lines they're going through the corners here. It's really tough to pick a clean line.
The old YouTuber GP Laps, I remember him saying about old kart days. It's the same as here. Call it 220 mile per hour chest. That's what we got here. Got to pick your moves tactically, even in these middle stints, just to set yourself up for success in that last run.
Yeah, fully agreed. You definitely need to strategize. It may seem simple at some point, like, oh, they're doing his turn left, right? But you definitely need to strategize. What are you trying to do? Like, for example, we were talking about Rebel Malekska. I think at this point he's doing a really, really smart play of, hey, I'm just going to hang back here. I'm going to save my tires, make sure that I'm there at the end. Because you can definitely try and push the issue. You can try and force your way through, but there are not very many places that you can go. And once you do that, you'll start using up your stuff. So better to just keep with this group, stay there, stay calm and collected, make sure that you're there for the next pit stop, which is going to bring us to the end of the race, and just go from there. That's when you get racy and really attacking.
Speaking of racy, we've got Hollabaugh kind of peeking on Wilhite there, trying to get back up into that top 5, top 6 there.
Hollabaugh's going to have a run on the high side here just a bit.
Yep.
Wilhite moves up.
We'll see if that top speed advantage, he's going to lift out of it. I think Matt might be having the same idea as Rob there. He's probably trying to conserve his late run pace, just keep the nose clean for right now. Stay in contact.
And I just saw that Alex Van der Sande went into the pit, so yeah, he was unlucky he didn't get that caution that he needed. He's going to go back 2 laps down. And the other thing that happened during that pit sequence, those guys that had pitted on lap 3, who might have had a little bit of an advantage in that fuel mileage situation. Well, once that caution came out at exactly the the fuel window,
leveled the playing field on you.
Yeah, it leveled it up.
David Porcelli's fought his way back up to 13th. That caution came out at a good time for him. There he is on Connie Naslund Gets on the underside of Connie. Down low through turns 1 and 2. Team Satellite Racing car. He has worked his way around, worked his way up the field.
Yeah,
Still
Dave's
side by
having a pretty good recovery drive so far. Just keep clawing away at those spots. It's almost back to where he started already.
Yeah, he clears Connie. Ooh, a little bit more push than he wanted to. Connie does the over-under. Now on the underside, gets a faster line going through turns 1 and 2. Let's see what happens.
Gonna be pretty even. Connie pushing up. Gonna give the inside to David. A little bit easier to run the inside line in 3 and 4, especially along that seam.
Oh, don't push up, don't push up.
Pushing up a little bit, though.
Oh.
Yeah, he had to get off the throttle there a little bit just to avoid running into Connie there.
Really interesting, though. They're actually gaining time on the cars in front on that lead group. They're all in contact with each other.
Oh, Ryanair King around. 2 cars. Ryanair King, David Graybill. And I think what happened is Ryanair King had the lift coming out of the corner. He might have pushed a little bit, and I think Graybill might have had a run and gotten to the back and helped him on around. Let's take a look. We are still green flag, but let's take a look here at David Graybill on board.
Oh.
Yeah, that's gonna be day done for Ryanair King. I think David Graybill just needs a new wing. He's
Oh. Yeah, just got a run on him. I think Ryan had to lift a little bit, and he's done. I think it's day done for Ryan. But we are still green, but that's going to separate David Graybill from the rest of the pack. He's got a lot of catch-up to do now, as well as maybe some light damage. Is he going to pit? I think he should pit, yep.
Yeah, he's getting a new wing there. Yeah, it looks like just a racing deal. They were very, very close together. And I think, David really wanted to get it on his draft. And like you said, Ryan seems to have lifted just a tiny bit because maybe he was afraid of running into the wall. And, they got together. Luckily, no caution, but unfortunately, day done for Ryanair King.
Meanwhile, back up front, we have Olsen, Blocker, Orman still setting the pace of 53 out of 100 complete. They are your leaders as they all three tend to... right now, at least we've seen this a lot with IndyCar as of late, especially at like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with that setup and fixed races. The top 2 cars tend to do pretty well. That third car tends to struggle a little bit, and I think we're starting to see maybe the struggles of the third car happening here. But as I say that, Jesper gets a run here in the draft of Blocker, and he's right back up with this crew.
Yeah, what I've seen is if the first 2 cars are working together, the third car can kind of just go a little to the outside or the inside, depending on which line has a little bit of clean air, and just stay with them. We're seeing, actually, that there is a little bit of a larger gap to 4th place, AJ Musselman there. It's around 0.4 of a second, which is not a lot, but in this type of racing, where you're typically just bunch up and really close to each other, it's pretty significant, although not terminal nor anything like that. He's going to be able to drop back up, but it's interesting to see how they're, gapping him a little bit. And as I said,
and there he is. He catches right back up. Yeah. We're riding on the right side pod right now of AJ Musselman, the very famous shot you see on ABC television when Raul Boisel and Robbie Gordon had wheels intertwined at the Indianapolis 500 back in, I think it was like 94, 95. But anyways, I'm done reminiscing. Looking in chat, Ryanair King says he didn't lift. All right, well, Good man. I mean, that says a lot for if you had to push and you didn't lift. Keep your foot in it. And also, hey, Antonio Facundo Rago is here to say hi.
Hey, Facundo. And I mean, if Ryan didn't have to lift, then that's just that there was a little bit of a misjudgment when attempting the pass.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. These guys are all good.
Racing deal.
Yep.
And it sucks that, again, it's a day down for Ryan. But thanks for joining us. And also thank you for clarifying that you didn't lift.
And Race First Social says, #never lift. So
Never lived.
Never lived. One thing I do want to draw attention to, we brought up earlier in terms of aero configuration. Matt Hollabaugh starting to struggle late in this run. He was running pretty aggressively during this stint.
Yeah.
Having to run the high line for most of the stint, but still losing time.
He is. He's about a second behind that lead group, and he's going to lose the draft here in the next couple of laps.
And if he's not careful, he's going to lose it. He might just be a matter of just kind of saving a little bit of fuel, but it's Hollabaugh. He should be having some good pace. Maybe might be able to make an adjustment in the pits, maybe add a little bit more front wing angle if he's not maxed out already on it. But yeah, he's definitely struggling on that late race pace. He was looking good when he was in that top 4 or 5, but the moment you get behind 5 or 6 cars, there's so much more dirty air. The way that it works here in iRacing, especially, it's a whole different ball game.
And again, if you're new to Indy Open Racing versus our fixed coverage on Monday, something that Nick said that he could fix the wing in the pit. No, not getting a new wing or anything. He could fix the angle of attack of each one of the planes of his wing there. And this goes back, way back to IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, the game way back then. That is one of the things you could always do, is you could adjust the angle of attack on pit stops of your wings. Of course, you see that in real IndyCar Racing too. They got the 2 knobs up front where they twist it left or right for wing in, wing out. And they could do that here in the Open Series when they make pit stops. So just because Matt Hollabaugh is struggling right now doesn't mean he's going to be struggling at lap 100.
Yeah, and you know, going back to Matt, I thought that he was going to lose the draft for sure in the next couple of laps, but instead he actually soldiered on, and you know,
there's Porcelli making a move on Seb Alexander. Sorry not to cut you off, but we got Porcelli back into the top 10. He is blistering fast right now. He 33 flat last time by. One of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He's equally as fast as cars in that lead group right now.
He wants to get back. He knows he's got to get back to that lead group before they get to those last pit stop. And with, coincidentally enough, with Hollabaugh kind of hanging back now, just keeping the tires in some sort of condition to stay raceable, it's going to pay dividends if Porcelli can keep up this pace and catch them before we get to about 30 to go or so when they make their last pit stops.
Well, he's 2.7 back, so he's outside the draft. So he's going to have to hope that his setup can bring him back to that next group.
What he needs is somebody to swap with him. If he had Seb swap with him or Connie swap with him, they'd be in business. But it looks like everybody's just kind of sitting tight now. And a lot of that's just going to be from being later in the run. Track is... Go ahead.
We got a little business we need to attend to. We got to do a little side-by-side action with Team Watson Racing setups. We'll keep you watching the race here in side-by-side, and we'll keep our mouth shut, and we'll be right back. Once again, if you're just joining us, you are watching Race First coverage of the Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern top split of the Indy Open Series, sponsored by Team Watson. Coverage sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups, coming to you from the Legacy Michigan International Raceway, where We're having a whole host of drivers right now. Right now it's Jesper Orman. A lot before that was Hugo Olsen leading, currently with just under 40 to go. Want to thank everyone for watching. And hey, show your support for Race First. Become a member of our Patreon page today. That's at patreon.com/racefirst. But I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Make sure to smash that like button and click subscribe so you can subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on the next race. We're getting into the home stretch here at Michigan.
Getting down to the home stretch here. During the break, we were just talking. This is setting up to be quite the finish here. Everybody's just kind of biding their time, it looks like. Don't be surprised if we see some crazy moves once we get through these last pit stops. Everybody's going to be going for it. If you're in this lead group, this top 10 separated by less than 2 seconds, you got a shot. And we're going to be getting to that pit window very, very shortly here.
Leaders are experiencing lap traffic, so it looked like Evans, or I'm sure he gets that all the time. Evan Adams is experiencing a little bit of degraded performance due to that incident that he had with Cesar Cabral off of turn 4 in the last caution, or a couple cautions ago. He is falling back to 18th now, a lap down. David Graybill is there, also a lap down. Katsuhiro Shiba, there he is, all by himself in the turn 1 trioval area. He is last car on the lead lap, P17. Nathan Reese is 16th. There we see Nathan. He's in the Team Scours car. Gil Ribeiro, he's worked his way up to 15th, up 8 spots. Trace Shadid, one of our regulars on the Monday Night Indy Fix program, up 5 spots, up to 14th. Zachary Hubler, he is 13th. Up 5 spots. Kevin Burrell, I think he's where he started. Started 12th, is 12th. Still learning these ovals, though. Giving it a good effort. Seb Alexander, 11th. Connie Nashland in the IAR car. Another IAR car in the top 10. There's David Porcelli recovering from a spin off of 2. Up into the top 10. Matt Hollenball. We've talked about him a number of times, that he's running less downforce on that front wing. He's P8. RM3, he's been back in P7 pretty much about the 3rd or 4th lap into this run. He's kind of falling back and hanging out right now. Chris Wilhite, another one of the IAA cars in 6th. Rashid Craig had a great pit stop to work his way up into the top 5. He is now P5. AJ Musselman, been up in the top 5 all day long today, AJ. He is 4th. Adam Blocker, he is currently 3rd, following the pair of Jesper Orman and Hugo Olsen. The Scandinavians showing the Americans how to do it here on the ovals. And I'm a quarter Scandinavian, so I'm not biased at all.
So I see that pit stop started. The last pit stop. This is for the home stretch. Kazuhiro Shiba, Zachary Hubler, they're both made their way into their pits. I'm sure that these guys up front are going to try and do it together, at least as a teammate.
As you say that, Hollabaugh in the pits, first of the leaders, first of that lead group to come in. Well, that's going to fire everybody off here probably pretty shortly.
Well, there we go. And if he has the clean air, he might be able to put a banger of an outlap, and, maybe that kind of undercut works a little bit for him.
And we'll have to see here. It depends on if he can just get the whiff of a draft off of somebody. It'll help. But keep that gap enough to keep air on his wing. It's a very fine line, but he might be close here. He might be able to stick onto the back of this group. It's gonna be close. Oh, it's gonna be very close here.
Hey.
Now with those, like you said, Antonio, with those newer tires, he's going to have more pace, so he's going to be able to bring that gap back up.
Oh, man, I don't know. I think he's just outside of drafting distance.
Yeah, I think he's outside of drafting distance. Let's take a look from his point of view. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he's making up that distance pretty quick, and everybody else is going to be pitting.
Yep.
So he hasn't lost a lot of time. And we got a bunch of leaders coming in as well.
I think.
Yeah.
Hugo Olsen. And
Yes,
AJ Musselman.
And Will Height
also making the runs in.
The teams are mirroring their own strategies. They're all splitting strategy here between a couple different laps.
Well, I think when you have as many cars as Powerslide and IAR do up in the top 10, it's probably not a bad idea to cover all bases and go ahead and split your strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going to be interesting to see where they merge back in and where does Matt Hollabaugh come into play.
Olsen out in front of AJ. AJ out behind Olsen.
See what this lap is for Hollabaugh here.
On ball this time by 32.7.
So about the same pace, but he's gonna blend.
Oh, he's going to get wheel height.
Oh, he's gonna blend very well. He's got wheel height.
And he's just going to be right behind both Hugo Olsen and AJ Musselman. So that did work for him. Now everyone else is spitting.
Rashid Craig coming in. He went a little bit
Also
longer
Jesper
than the rest of
Orman.
his team. Jesper Orman is in pit road, or on pit road. RM3 right behind him.
And Blocker coming out right now as well too. Keep you updated on that as we're watching. As
and
Hollabaugh gets Blocker.
Well, Will Height might also get Blocker. We'll see. They're side by side going into 3. As a number 2 ranked, number 3 ranked car in this split.
Full tires for Blocker, keeping him low.
Oh,
Will
Height. Once he heard clear, he shut the door.
All right, this is business time now.
Here comes Craig.
Getting into we're getting into the business part of the race here.
Hugo Olsen is going to take the lead there.
We're about to see some crazy moves here. Getting to about 20 to go here, 22 to go. I'm excited. I'm sorry. This is this is getting good because everybody's getting bunched back together. Nobody's lost the draft off these pit stops, so this is gonna be good.
It sure is. And just looking again at Matt Hollabaugh, he did make up a lot of ground. He's now P5.
Yes.
He's 7 tenths back of AJ Musselman, so he's in draft distance, and a net gain for him. We'll see how it goes. The field really is just the top 7. Looks like Rashid Craig came a little later than everyone else.
Yeah, he went a lap or 2 later than everyone else.
Yeah, he lost the draft. He's a second and a half behind. So
yeah,
it's these top 7. They're gonna have a dogfight, like you said, Nick.
With the amount of laps left, tire wear even for Hollabaugh should not be an issue. Yeah, he has 3 lap older tires than everybody else, but they're gonna be doing less than 30 laps on these tires. As long as Matt keeps riding that high line, he's definitely at least made a net gain here. If not, put himself in contention for this win.
All right, so pit stop's over. Let's reset the field here. Jesper Orman is your leader. He continues to swap the lead with Hugo Olsen here in the closing stages. 20 laps to go here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. RM3 just hanging out right now in P3. AJ Musselman P4. Matt Hollabaugh P5. Chris Wilhite P6. Adam Blocker back to 7th. Rashid Craig in 8th. Zachary Hubler's made his way up to 9th. He actually pitted a little bit early, but he's in the top 10. He's getting passed right now by David Porcelli. Porcelli back up into the top 10. So that is your top 10 here in the closing stages here at Legacy Michigan International. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate that. Make sure to donate to the program. The link is in the description. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff right there. We appreciate you joining us on this Saturday afternoon, wherever it might be. I know there's football going on somewhere, but don't ever pass up IndyCar racing at Michigan, virtual or real. It's been a while since we've seen real, though.
Oh, man, yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Yeah, hopefully soon, yes.
All right, Hollabaugh having a little bit of a run now on AJ. AJ kind of biding his time there, riding that low seam. Malechka lurking in 3rd. This is anybody's race here. You want to talk about covering them with the blanket early on? You cover them with a napkin now.
Postage stamp.
Oh, Hollabaugh looking on that high line. He's going to try to get a run on AJ.
Yeah, we're watching that battle right here. As soon as AJ gave him enough room up against the wall, he decided, you know what? I will go ahead and thread that needle.
Not the run.
AJ spinning off the floor of 2 in the wall. Are we going to go caution? We're going to go caution. We're going to go caution. I don't think so. We're going to go green.
No caution. Oh, man.
No contact there. That was, I think, just Musselman had a little too much weight jackered out in, or a little bit too much wheel on the exit. You come off of that exit off of 2 here, especially at Legacy, Michigan.
Watch it again.
Yeah, and they were so close together. I think AJ tried to, yank the wheel a little bit more to the left to avoid running into Matt Hollabaugh there, and that was enough for the car to snap loose. And like you said, Nick, that probably had a lot of weight jackers, so just add in that very close racing, and that's the recipe for that spin happening.
I don't know if AJ has ever won the top split here on the Saturday top split, but Michigan does historically cater to first-time winners in IndyCar history. Ronnie Buckman, we got his very first win here. Pancho Carter, John Paul Jr., Thomas Schechner. It also caters to drivers, the lesser known that little people don't know, got a win here. Billy Vukovic Jr. got a win here. Joe Leonard got a win here. Gary Bettenhausen got a win here. So this track definitely caters to drivers that don't win a whole lot or first-time winners, and that might have been a missed opportunity for AJ, but we will see him back in the next oval race for sure. Put in a good effort. He was in the top 5 all day. But now reset top 5, Orman, Olsen, Malechka, Hollabaugh, and Wilhite. They are now your top 5. Blocker, he's just kind of hanging out in 6th. I don't know if he's hanging out just kind of preserving everything, or is he just not able to reach this group?
Then there were 5. This is very interesting. Wilhite kind of hanging out as well, too. He had to run that low line a lot, getting a lot of dirty air. Hollabaugh running the high line. Malechka just conserving and lifting early and just keeping the slipstream. Jesper, Hugo keeping clean air on each other as well, too, through that front. As Wilhite blinks out there, that's a little scary if you're anybody around him. Malechka looking more racy now, looking at Orman. I'm going to 12 to go, going 3 wide.
Is 12 the go time here at Michigan. RM3 up high in 2. He's got P2. He's going to have a run down the backstretch. Let's see if Orman comes up there, gets him. Yep, Orman closed the door. RM3 on the downside. 3 wide into 3, maybe 4. Definitely 3 different lines.
And now Wilhite making a move on Matt Hollabaugh.
So all of a sudden, the let's go crazy klaxon sounded, and we are now going to see 3 wide, 4 wide possibly for the remainder of this race.
Don't look now, but Blocker is back.
Almost a contact with Wilhite there.
Very close there.
And I was wondering about Blocker. Was he just hanging out, or was he just falling back, or what? But here he comes. There's that blue and black car.
Yeah, conserving their time. Hollabaugh and Wilhite making a little bit of contact there. No damage on either car, but woo! This is picking up for sure now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be with these top 6. Rashid Craig, fortunately, is not able to join this battle. He is 5 seconds behind Blocker, well out of the draft window. He's just looking to possibly, and he's all by himself at this point. So he's looking. He's just hoping that he has the mileage to continue to hold down this spot in the top 10 and finish here with a P7. Porcelli, Kevin Burrell, Hubler, Seb Alexander, all those guys, they are fighting tooth and nail back here for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
I want to talk about tooth and nail while we're going through the field there. Malechka just sends it on that inside line on these older tires now.
And now these leaders, they're coming up on lap traffic, so that's add another variable to that.
Let's run along with Jesper and see what he sees. Of course, Jesper's going to have the help of the draft. That is Adams up there, who's a little damaged from an earlier incident. Draft didn't help him too much. RM3 gets the run down low, down the backstretch.
Malechka thought about trying to use Evan there as a pick, but still respectful. Gave him enough room to get through that middle line there. I think the last thing anybody wants is a caution right now. We do not want to have to re-rack the field this late, because then it'll be anybody's race, even those in the back.
Let's go back to the lead. These three have separated themselves a little bit from Chris Wilhite behind him.
Yeah, Wilhite, Hollabaugh, we're battling a little bit, caused a little bit of separation, but at this point, when they go 3 wide, it creates just this wall of air, and you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it, so on these older tires, it's going to be horrendous feeling.
8 to go.
So you're going to end up with some time.
Olsen's going to try to follow through Malechka, teammates. Olsen to the lead.
Oh, Olsen with the little slider.
Pushes
going
up. Let's get the video. There we go. 3 wide now down the backstretch.
He's going to send it 3 wide.
If you wanted sliders from White Castle, no, we got them here in Michigan, my friend.
3 wide again.
Oh, this is going to be dangerous for Hugo because he's going to get pinched down low. That's a really tight angle.
Olsen, RM3, Orman, No Fear Racing up front, 3 wide. 6 laps to go, 12 miles here at Michigan International.
So much weight jacker you have to dial in there with that line that Hugo had. That car's on a nice edge right now, and that brings Wilhite back into the hunt.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, like you said, now that they're going 3 wide over and over, that brought Wilhite back into the fray. And he's going to get a really good run.
Have Wilhite and Hollabaugh saved enough here for this final run. It definitely looks like Chris Wilhite has got the pace on the gearbox of Malechka, coming into turn 3. Look into the inside, finding that clean air. Not quite yet, but he's got plenty of grip on those tires, it looks like.
He's there. So now we got a tag team match going on here, Nick. We got Power Slide versus IAR.
Oh, it's 4 wide.
Oh, Olsen. You cannot side draft in these.
Oh, I'm just gonna say it now because it's inevitable. You can do 5 wide here. You can do 5 wide here. It's not comfortable. Nobody wants it to happen, but we might have a 5 wide finish.
Kind of rolls out of it there in 3 and 4. I think maybe just trying to collect himself a little bit. Hollenball now not too far. There's still plenty of time. 4 laps, 8 miles. Down to 3 laps, 6 miles.
3 laps to go. The final pieces are set in this virtual chess match. Who's got their bishop in the right spot? Who's got their tires in the right window of temperature? Who's got the guts to make that decisive move?
It's going to come down to the wire. And 3 wide. 2 to go.
Wilhite, where do I go?
I think it's just strategy. Like, where do I put the car? Where is there a little bit of a gap for me to go through?
Yeah, Chris is just scouting, but there's not a lot of pace with them bobbing back and forth, being 3 wide. We've got coming to want to go as Hugo.
Hugo spins a little bit, but he saves it.
Keeps it fresh, keeps it tidy.
Gets the position.
White flag.
Trying to make the move. Robert Malechka leading Jesper Orman. What are they gonna do here in turn 1?
And that's bringing Hollabaugh into the fray too. All right,
he's got a little tight.
RM3 going to the IRL line down low.
And Malechka's going to defend that line. Here we go, race to the line. Malechka down low. Orman up high. Orman's going to get a sniff of the draft. Malechka down low, hugs that line, and he takes the win. at Michigan International Speedway.
And the apron is in bounds for this race. So unlike the FIS race, that would not have been a win for RM3. In the open, it is inbounds. That is a win for Team Powerslide over the Team IAR at the line. Powerslides 1, 3, and 6. IAR 2, 4, and 7.
Whoa. Wow. How Hugo kept that together.
Yeah, I'm speechless about that. I mean, he was, a little sideways.
We got a little we have some carnage at the front. Looks like we got Shadid and Nathan Reese looks like have some issues maybe coming to the checkered. We didn't see. And yeah, get out of victory lane. Robert wants in. Poor Trace. That's like insult to injury. Just shoves him out of victory lane. Well, let's take a look at today's final stats and classification. Of course, today's race sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. Robert Malechka, the third, RM3 gets the win. Jesper Ormond, P2. Hugo Olsen, P3. That is your podium. Chris Woolite. Well, this is if it's just indicative of how he has started his Indy Fix season. We're going to see Chris up at the front a lot, just off the podium this time. P4, Matt Hollenball, P5, Adam Blocker back there in 6th, Rashid Craig in 7th, Zachary Hubler works his way up to 8th, Porcelli recovers to a top 10 in 9th, and Seb Alexander in 10th. Remainder of your top 15, Naslund, Sheba, Reese, Burrell, and Shadid. Further on back, Graybill, Adams, Van de Sant, Ribeiro, and Musselman, your top 20. And the remainder of your 23-car field, Rainier King, Cesar Cabral, and Hemrick Jr.
And what a race. Michigan never disappoints.
No, I had to mute my mic there and catch my breath. Good Lord. Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, never disappoints. That was some master car control by everybody, not just Hugo with saving that slide and keeping the podium, but everybody keeping it clean, respecting everybody's space. Hollabaugh racing everybody hard, Will Height racing everybody hard, trying to claw back that podium, but coming oh so close, but still a wonderful points day for the purple car there from IAR.
Do not see the only member of the podium that is in is Jesper, so we will go ahead and bring him on up. Matt Hollenball stopped by the interview room, and I tell you what, if no one else checks in, we'll bring up Matt Hollenball, who finished 5th, and talk to him possibly about his setup with that single plane that we noticed. There's Robert Malechka. He just popped in as well. So let's go ahead and bring up Jesper first, and I'll let you guys go ahead and kick off the interview, and while I do some directing. So here we go. Hey, Jesper, got you up here in the booth with Antonio and Nick. They're going to ask all the questions. They're going to do some directing here, but so close for you. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, Gary. That was a really good race, I think, at least for Michigan. Usually something happens to me. but this one was good. I assume we gave you guys a good show up here, So yeah, P2, obviously crossing the line, you want to win, so a little bit disappointing, but P2, I shouldn't complain at all. Car felt so good, been feeling good all week. I think there was a competition between us and Powerslide, who was more loose than the other. Yeah, but that's the way to go here, I guess. But yeah, for the team, decent results. AJ was, I haven't seen the incident yet. Seems like he might have been taken off by Hollybaugh, or there might have been some kind of misunderstanding in the situation. I don't know. I have to watch. That sucks for AJ. I mean, such a good guy, and he deserves more. Like, he was running up there with us. So yeah, we deserved the podium.
Initial glance, it looked like AJ just got a little loose, put a little too much wheel into it. Now, whether there was netcode involved, we couldn't tell, but there is space. But no, Jesper, your team looking very strong as always here on these super speedways. Let me ask you, how awkward is it to work once you guys got split up, your teammates got split up, to work with another team's car, especially when we know they're on comms together, you're on comms together, but you're still kind of swap drafting back and forth?
Yeah.
Is it a little different? You still do the same thing?
I would say, like, I know Hugo and Robert in and out, and they know me in and out.
Mhm.
We've been doing this for a long time. We kind of know what to expect. I mean, I can already tell if someone is trying to, if let's say I'm P2 coming up to the front stretch, I already know if the P3 guy is going to take a 3 wide or not. So I feel confident. So as soon as I saw that Hugo and Rob were starting to work together, I knew that, okay, I got to switch on here. And from that on, it was a fight. I just trying to place the car wherever whatever there was space, and like at the same time you're trying to go as fast as possible. You kind of have to try and block the other guys and stuff like that. So yeah, but as like working together with Powerslide, no problem. They have been doing this for a long time. They know what they're doing. So in that sense, just a normal day.
Yeah, for sure. Antonio?
Well, Jesper, congratulations on the podium. That was a great run. Hey, I gotta ask, how about the tire management? Was there any tire fall off at all? I mean, we didn't see much change in lap times or whatnot. So, how was that part of the race?
Like for me up front, I think I'm able to save tires better than obviously people behind, because they're kind of they're gonna scrub the tires a little bit more. So for me, it was not an issue. My teammates had like a little bit more issues with the tires, but on average, I would say, like, yeah, of course the tires matter in the end, but it's not like super deciding. You can still be competitive with 20 lap old tires. I mean, so yeah, in that sense, all good. But it's always good to preserve tires. So yeah, I think I was like at maybe 65, 70, 75% on the right front, which the right front is taking the most toll here, for me at least. So it was like around 70 for the whole stint. So yeah, all good.
Shout out to anyone to say hi to.
Sorry?
Shout out to anyone to say hi to.
Yeah, well, obviously my teammates, Chris, a nice P4 there, Rashad with a P7, and like we were 6 guys in this race today, so that's a good showing for our team. So
very good.
And five of us finishing, so yeah, that's all good. And as always, in these hard times in the world, I want to give shout out to all my friends in Ukraine, having a really tough time at the moment. So Slava Ukraini.
Well, there you have it. We are right there with you, and we will see you at Long Beach next week. Hopefully, if all goes well. But congratulations on the podium, and we're going to talk later, I'm sure. But congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to Long Beach.
You got it. All right, we got Hugo's popped in, so let's bring up Hugo. Hey, Hugo, got you in the booth here with Antonio, Nicholas, and myself. You were kind of up there all day, kind of working with your teammates and not working with your teammates to kind of do some swap drafting up there. You've started off this season very well, 2 podiums and 2 races, and not a bad day for your team either, who finished on the first and third step of the podium. So all in all, not bad. Tell us about your day.
Yeah, we had a really good car here in this race. Props to Powerslide for that. Work put into the setup, which I think showed here. We were able to have a car, at least one car up front the entire race there, and certainly helps the many cars up at the front. And me and Rob were trying to be like the 2 cars up front at the end there, but Jesper yeah, it was fighting very hard there, and then of course I had that slide in the end there, which really put me out of contention for the win there.
Yeah, but we gotta say that was a fantastic save on your part. Hey, Hugh, tell us a little bit more about that slide. What happened there? Was it a little bit too much weight, Jacker? Maybe the line was a little weird. What sparked that slide?
Yeah, so my car was always a little bit tighter in 3 and 4, so I had compensated with my tools and roll bars in the race for that. And being the second to last lap, I thought, well, might as well do it one step further and try to make it really turn down low there, which I had struggled with. And for some reason, like on the seam between the first and second lane there, it felt like the right rear just started to skid out. And yeah, so I was just trying to not lose too much momentum and put just enough opposite lock into it to not spin out.
Yeah, that save saved you a lot of points here. Just looking at the championship, I know we're only 2 weeks in. You know, we got plenty of drop weeks as well as we get later in the season, but you and Rob are 1-2 in the points title, and you've got a pretty decent gap so far. Do you feel confident through the rest of this season so far? And you got Long Beach next week. How do you feel about your championship chances so far? You think you'll be able to make a run at it?
Yeah, if I can make like most races this season, I feel like I definitely have a chance, especially with the strength of fields being more towards European friendly times now with this Saturday broadcast race. Have a really good turnout for this race, so I feel like it really helps. And what I need to do is just keep on finishing on the podium every race, and that's how you win a championship.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic. Your spot starts during the IIS season. Last season were great, and it's good to have you around as always, Hugo. So feel free. Shout outs to family, friends, sponsors, and nice job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, like I said, thanks to Powerslide Motorsports for the setups, and yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for the broadcast.
No problem. We will see you next week at Long Beach.
Yeah, see you.
All right, now we have the winner, RM3. We'll bring him on up. Here is RM3, is in the room here with us, Antonio, myself, and Nick. Robert, we noticed that a good portion of the last two stints, you kind of just hung back in fifth and sixth and just kind of rode it out, and then really seemed like with about 12 or so to go, you attacked and just laid it to the top two and made your move then. Was it just conserving tires and fuel, or just biding your time?
Really just both of those. I mean, you guys know it's kind of typical Michigan where the first and second swap draft for 90% of the race, and then the last 10 laps is just it's a whole new race. So yeah, those first 80 or so laps, I was kind of just riding around, saving tires, because the 5 laps in, or after that first yellow, I kind of noticed everyone was charging the corners and kind of burning up the front. So I kind of just let everyone go by and just rode around, relaxed in the back, kind of learned where my car was good to compare to others around me. And ultimately, I think that got me to win, knowing how people were kind of charging the corner a bit too much and kind of burning the right front up.
Yeah, Rob, great job. I could tell that you were kind of scouting it out a bit, especially hanging out there. Early on, were you having some issues with tire wear, though, on that right front? It looked like you were starting to struggle to maintain contact a little bit there. Were you just kind of saving it, like we were saying as well, too?
Yeah, we knew, I believe Monday night, the session there, it was a bit hotter, possibly. So we kind of knew that the right front would get cooked a bit, if you were in traffic, especially. So once I was kind of, I think, stuck behind Jesper and Adam, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to ride around. I put it in map 3, map 4, and rode around and kind of let everyone behind me, once we kind of pulled away, just to go by. And yeah, just conserving that right front was big, because it was, I'd say, a little bit hard to pass. if you got the clean air, obviously you could make up time and make up spots relatively easily. But once there was, I think I was stuck behind AJ and Will Height and Rashad for a bit there. And when they were running kind of 3 different lanes, it was relatively hard for me to go anywhere. But yeah, just like I said, just kind of saving the right front and hoping others up in front of me kind of burn the right front up as well.
Well, Robert, fantastic race, fantastic win. That move that you made in order to make a move past Jesper was great. And you had your teammates around you most of the race, and the really good battle there with IAR. Is that something that you're looking forward to? The entire season. Where do you see that winning that championship, or where are you in that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I think we all know each other quite well. Sorry about the lawnmower. We all know each other quite well up front. So, we're all really used to racing with one another up front. So, very comfortable. We know how hard we can race each other, but race respectfully. And, yeah, in terms of the championship, I think I'm first right now. I don't really know. Really, it's kind of just a...
Yeah, last I checked you were, so this adds up to that.
Yeah, really. I mean, right now it's just week by week. I'm pretty sure I'll miss a few, but hopefully, with your guys' broadcast, and maybe we can get a Friday split. That would give people that can't run on Mondays a opportunity to still score decent points and have a run at the overall championship.
Got it. Well, congratulations again. Great win. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks to Adam, Hugo, and Alex for working on the setup, especially Adam. Unfortunately, he had his issue, but yeah, Power Slide continues to dominate at Michigan, I guess, so I'll take it.
A continuation of dominance. Well, congratulations on the win. Hopefully we will see you next week on the road course there at Long Beach, and next time, go tell the lawnmower guy to wait another 10 minutes before mowing next year.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Well, thankfully, it's getting almost to the fall here, so lawn mowings are going to start slowing down for everybody. It's going to be snow plowing at that point. But, gentlemen, starting with you, Nick, and then going on to Antonio, it's Michigan. We know how these races are. They never ceases to amaze us every single time we watch them. The finishes never ceases to surprise us every time we watch them. It's a shame that real IndyCar is not here, and it really needs to be here. But in the meantime, these IR18 pilots make it look fun and exciting here for the Indy Open Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, it's a great combination, like we said at the top of the broadcast, and it does not disappoint. That being said, looks like Power Slide making a very good run at another potential lock of the title. It's early on, but they're definitely staking their claim that they want to win. They want to dethrone Trano off of the throne, and I think they've kind of just set their mark last week and this week here, with Rob and Hugo both being 1-2 in the championship right now. Long way to go, but I'm not just excited to have another good couple of races coming up. I'm excited for the rest of the season, and you should too, whoever's tuning in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I fully agree. I mean, this is shaping up to be a great battle between the Power Slide guys and the IAR guys. It's definitely something that you will not want to miss any of the races, because it's going to come down to the wire with these two teams. And as for the race, I think we saw a really great Michigan race. I mean, we saw like a breakout of around 7 guys. Those 7 guys were moving all around, going back and forth, making moves here and there, and just showing how good of a racetrack this is for the IndyCars. Really wish that real life IndyCar would come back to Michigan, because it really does put on a show. And like we said, and I think we've repeated this the most during this broadcast, Michigan never disappoints. So yeah, really happy with the race that we got, and congratulations again to Robert Alaska for that hard-earned win.
Well, let's just not forget about IAR and Power Slide, but we had the All-American Internet racers up there as well. We had Scours in the lineup. We had Team Satellite out there as well, Satellite Racing. So virtual who's who of the team world and IndyCar racing and IndyCar community here at iRacing showed up to take a swing at it, and they put on a good show, all of them combined. So look forward to seeing all those teams and more showing up next week at Long Beach. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Michigan is Robert Malechka. RM3 gets the win here on the high banks in the Irish Hills, as well as Jesper Orman getting another podium here on the oval. He finishes P2. Hugo Olsen is going to be among your points leader going into next week, as finishing on 2 consecutive podiums here on the Saturday Strength of Field race. That is your podium. Join racers again next week for round 3 of the Indy Open Series as we come to you from the streets of Long Beach for the Long Beach Grand Prix. Coverage should begin approximately 2 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Again, that's 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. As always, check the official iRacing schedule or our channel for the correct time in your area. Race First coverage of the Indy Open Series is sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. Visit teamwatsonracing.com for all your setup needs for the Indy Open season. Use the code WATSPIN, WATSPIN 39 for 5% off your next purchase. That's WATSPIN, WATSPIN 39 for 5% off your next purchase. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. So if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the Indy Open Series, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our Indy Open Broadcast Series Fund. Indy Open Series Broadcast Fund. There we go. That's better. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Saturdays each and every week. And that means a lot, because we know people are watching some football out there. So thanks for tuning in. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know tonight's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. And after a finish like that, that definitely deserves some thumbs up. So help feed the YouTube algorithm machine. Give us a thumbs up. If you're new, click subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out more of the Race First iRacing programming, including Season 4 of 2022, the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split on Monday night, of course, and the continuation of the Race First Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries to learn more about what Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Here's a couple of our Twitter handles right here at the bottom of our page. We got myself, Race First, and we got Antonio's, and Nick, your Twitter handle is?
NJ Sudik, SUDIK, all one word.
There you go.
And yep, there we go.
There you go. We'll make sure that add all those to your Twitter accounts, and you can follow us. We would appreciate that. So for Nick Sudik, Antonio Estrada, and everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gasso saying all thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women and serving in the military and as first responders. Godspeed, God bless, and come on safe. Catch us again next week at Long Beach for the next race of the Indy Open Series. Good night.